Hello, my name is Nicolina Torsha. I'm a special education teacher, and in this video I'm going to help describe the IEP process and break down the steps you can take as a parent to make sure your child is receiving the services and support that they need to be successful in school. So as a parent, the first step would be a referral process, and a referral process is put into effect when a parent makes a written request for their child to be evaluated for special services. So through IDEA, there is something called Child Find, and Child Find will assess and determine if a child with a disability is entitled to special education services. So after you make this referral, again, it needs to be a written request. A school can decline the evaluation, they can request for further screenings, or they can begin the full and individual initial evaluation. So this would take us to the evaluation process, and within the evaluation process, the parent must give written consent to the school, and after the consent is received, the child will be evaluated to kind of determine where they're at with their academic functions, their physical functions, behavioral functions, and so on. Basically, this would give us an idea of their abilities and inabilities. So if it is suspected that the child is eligible for special education services, this is where a meeting would then be put in place for them to evaluate, what kind of disability category would make that child eligible for services. So with that, there are 13 disability categories that a child must be covered under to receive special education services. So the 13 categories include autism, deafness, blindness, emotional disturbance, any kind of physical impairment, and so on. However, these disabilities must negatively hinder or influence a child's academic functions and performance. So if a child is qualified under one of these disability categories, this is where the IEP process would begin. So again, each child is unique, their disabilities are unique, and the way they learn and their needs are all unique. So this is where the IEP process would become a personal and high parent and student involvement process. So within the IEP, there are 5 key components. The first one is current performance. So the IEP would include where the child is at currently, just to give us an understanding of where they are, our goals, and where they need to be. And also the steps that are going to be needed to take to increase their challenges, what they're having issues with. So after they determine the child's current performance, this will help kind of give us an idea of the child's strengths and weaknesses. So then the IEP team will locate which areas are needed for improvement, and this will help us create realistic goals. So this is, again, really important for the parent involvement, so you can get an idea of, your experiences with your child and what you know about them that can help us create realistic goals for the child. These goals will also influence the type of services, how many services the child or accommodations the child will need to reach their goals and to make, achievements in their learning and physical and behavioral functions. Finally, assessments are the last component of the IEP process, and with assessments, we will decide as the IEP team if your child is eligible for, accommodations for testing. So whether that be having someone help them read through their tests, or giving them a separate room to take their tests, or giving them extra time, this would all be determined within the IEP. Again, parent involvement is a major part of the IEP process and making sure your student is given the support and services needed. And as an educator, as an educator in general and within the IEP process, parent communication and involvement is an essential part of the process. You know your child best, and without your input, we would never be able to kind of reach that child. Lastly, as educators, we have a responsibility to be advocates for your child, and we're here to make sure that your student is constantly monitored and making progress and doing so through the appropriate services and supports. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you.